Let me get Bobby invited here, and then we'll be off and running. Okay, boom. Oops. Wow, that was really weird. Okay. Let me just text him now as well. Give him one more ping. Okay. Let's get chat up. All right, what is going on? We're gonna do a quick. Quick. We're gonna go till like about 6:30 or so. Maybe a minute or so after that. I mean, I guess I could leave it for Bob if he wants to do whatever. I'm pretty well done with my lineups here, but I did have a couple of comments about my initial builds from this afternoon, which merit some discussion. Remember earlier today, I really felt I don't know why I thought this, but I was getting some really low ownership runs on. I'll get there, K9, on the pitchers that I really wanted, and not surprisingly, they picked up some more ownership. So it's not like I'm putting one over on anybody by fading Nola and Darvish in most of my lineups, but they're still going to be lower owned, my guys, but not as lower owned. So with respect to stacks, again, with the usual disclaimers, with the value stacks you want to put with the higher price pitchers and such. Overall, with value and all this stuff, I think Cincinnati rates for me as the best option. They are going to carry with them a decent amount of ownership, though, but maybe not as much as I thought. What I'm getting here is probably equal ownership between them and Bobby's doing that too, and Seattle and San Diego as well. I don't know why I thought that San Diego was going to be lower owned, but they're going to be able to garner some ownership as well, as will Colorado, as I mentioned also. But you're asking me who do I like for stacks? Again, ownership being equal, I do think Cincinnati's pretty strong value. But when it comes to just who's going to get the most points, I mean, we're back to, just I think every day that Toronto's playing at home, you look at Toronto, right? So I like Toronto, Colorado, San Diego, Boston, those types of guys. Who would be the Nola pivot? Okay, so we're gonna come back to it. I'm gonna reiterate what I said earlier. Is that I'm not playing Nola. I'm not playing Nola, and I'm not playing Darvish. But I will say that the guys I'm playing are getting much more ownership than I originally thought. But it should have I should have known that. I mean, when I saw McClanahan and what's his face and Skubal at like 10, 12, 10, 11%, I should have known that was a pipe dream. I mean, I'm seeing Bobby. What do you say? I'm seeing both these guys at like 20% now. Skubal and McClanahan.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would have thought. I would not surprised. I actually think they might be higher on than that. I'm less on McClanahan than I was earlier. Yeah. I'm on the opposite of you. I'm more playing Darvish, and I don't see any reason why we're going to play worse pitchers today. There's too much money to spend. There's definitely danger in the Toronto game. Not that we're using pitchers from there, but it does look bad. So I would check the weather report on that one. I like San Diego now probably as much or better than everybody else. I think this is a great spot for them to just go nuts, and they're way too cheap. It's way, 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 way too cheap. I'm less on Cincinnati, but I still have some of them. So I'm more on to San Diego, Houston. I have a couple Cubs stacks. I have Toronto still in a lot of big lineups, but I'm still waiting to see the weather on that one.
The one thing that I did do not differently. I didn't really get into FanDuel too much, and I am getting exposure to the higher price pitchers on FanDuel. I am playing a decent amount of Nola and Darvish on FanDuel. I think just their leashes are just so much wider than the lower price guys, that it's kind of and it's so much easier to get guys on FanDuel that you want, that I don't need to do that. But on DraftKings, I am still playing the lower price guys, so I can get up to the more expensive hitters. Is the way I'm going to be. And I am putting, I would say, my money where my mouth is. I did say earlier, in decent part, because Bobby confirmed it, is that, I don't care what my projections say or what anybody's projections say. I think that Marquis is just you have to play him, and he's going to and I think that people that run models and run 150s and stuff like that, they're just not going to get to him, because he's not going to project well, and unfortunately I think that the projection models just haven't caught up to how good he's been.
I think today they have. I mean, I think people are. I don't know about the projection models, but I'm saying that people I think are going to play them.
You think so?
I'm going to play him. Yeah, I'd be really surprised if he's not pretty high owned.
Okay.
But I don't mind anyway. I'll take any pitching production today. I'm tired of losing things because of my pitcher over and over again. It's really frustrating.
Hey, speaking of taking any kind of pitching, I didn't really look into it, but do you have any? Is Toussaint actually getting like a full start?
I'm not playing. I'm not considering. It's not even a consideration like near where I would think.
Okay.
I know he's got like decent stuff, but like I have no idea how long they're gonna. I would be shocked if they left him in any kind of time. If you want to take a shot on somebody, play Josiah Gray or play the kid from Toronto. Don't play Toussaint. Like, he hasn't pitched in forever. These other guys are ready to go.
Okay.
So that's what I would do. And I do actually have a lineup with Gray and a lineup with what's his name, the Toronto kid. So that's what you should be doing, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I just figured I'd throw it out there. And the other guy who immediately popped as a play that I didn't have in my runs earlier is Aquino from Cincinnati.
Well, yeah, he wasn't supposed to play today.
Yeah. But he does carry with him pinch hit risk. But 2,400, you got a bunch of these guys, right, Bobby? I mean, between him and Kalenic and Duran and Naquin, these are all very, very strong 2K players.
Yeah. I have Naquin ahead of both of them, but I'm good with Aquino also. There's tons of value. I don't see any reason why. The more I think about this slate, the less I don't think you need to spend up for hitters. I mean, you could stack every team you want and just play these cheapos everywhere. First base, okay. Outfield. There's plenty of value, like so much value. And the value is not that much worse than the actual hitters. So you can use 2 or 3 of those guys and play the most expensive pitchers, and you don't have any problems with your money. So that's my sort of thoughts on that, I guess. But I am still mixing in the other guys because I don't think it's such a sure thing for Nola and you to go nuts. But the more I think, like the more I'm starting to feel like I might be making a mistake. Just the way people are talking about them or if they're like nothing pitchers. Even Garcia, I'm playing Garcia too.
Okay.
I just don't see any reason to save. Like, what are you saving for? And you have to be convinced that Toronto-Boston game is going, for one thing.
Yes.
And we really won't know. So we're only doing a half-hour show today, so we'll get out of here before that, and try and get the weather stuff. But I'm concerned about that. That sort of threw my whole lineups up a little bit.
I'll add a couple of things in. I second your comment on San Diego. I think I have San Diego as my top dogs on DraftKings now. The other one, and I am going to be playing some Seattle. The one team that we didn't really go over too much that I'm getting a decent amount of, just because of where these guys are playing in the lineup, is Minnesota, actually.
I like Garver.
Yeah.
Anybody else I need to play there? but
Okay.
I think it's fine. I think anybody there is fine. I'm sorry. That's who else I moved on to, the White Sox a little bit. But I do have some a couple players from Minnesota. I don't know if I have more than 2 anywhere. But
okay. Yeah, I got a 1, 2, 3 there.
Yeah, it's just Garver for me. Who do you have as 2? What was the other part of the lineup that
Arias, Garver, Cruz, just 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah. I have no interest in, like, I don't play guys like Arias. They're always too popular and they don't have any power. So he's a good real life hitter. So as a part of a full stack, I would go for it. But I don't play him as a one-off. And of course, saying that tonight, he's probably going to hit. How many home runs has he's played every game basically this year? He's got 1 home run. Maybe he'll hit a 2nd home run tonight.
What if he just like that? What if he just gets a walk and then just scores when Cruz knocks him in?
A lot more than that if you want to be competing. He's going to have to put up like 20 fantasy points.
Yeah.
I think you're really looking at that for every position now. Like, you really want to try to. Sure, in a stack you can play that. We can still play the Duran guy because he's batting 2nd and stuff. But I know he had a home run last night. The guy hadn't hit I think 2 home runs in his previous 300 at bats. Things like that just happen. It's just I'm gonna bank on still the best plays.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at, sort of. And I do like the Red Sox, both the Red Sox and Blue Jays in that game. I like the whole game. I've been, before everybody else was talking about, we were all over this Toronto, the stadium. People were new about the stadium, but they weren't treating it like it's Coors, and that's really what they should be doing. And you have better lineups there because of the American League East almost every day. So I'm into that.
Yeah, you know what? The other Minnesota I have, I do also have a 2, 3, 4 without Arias, where I have Donaldson in the 4. So I do have a Garver, Cruz, Donaldson, which I'm happy about.
Mm-hmm. I like Dunning a little bit, by the way, too, if you're going to spend down at pitcher.
Yeah, you know what? I mentioned on the earlier show I was only going to have 4 pitchers on DraftKings, and Dunning was going to be the 4th. I didn't. I kind of came off of him. Maybe that's a little bit of a mistake.
No, I think it's. I don't think it's like he's like these guys are not. That's why I'm saying, why aren't we just playing the awesome guys? Why are we playing all these other guys when we have the awesome guys right there? And I'm not playing as much as fun.
Well, let me ask you. And let's play devil's advocate to ourselves again. I'm going to phrase this in the way that to be devil's advocate, but is Nola playing in Yankee Stadium? The great guys, and I'll likewise say is Darvish playing in Atlanta with possible rain such a great play? You know what I mean? It's not like these guys are locks.
They're so much better than every other pitcher on the slate. It's not even close. So I can't even, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, this is the Yankees lineup is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
It is a bad shift going from the National League to the Yankee Stadium. But Darvish, I'm almost wondering what we're even thinking about, with him. And I actually have Nola as much as Darvish, but I have them together a lot, and I just don't care. I'll get different with my lineups. You know what I mean? I don't think people are playing the White Sox. I have a lot of combo stacks with the White Sox and Padres. I know the Padres will have some ownership for sure. I think that the Houston is getting overlooked a little bit today, other than a couple spots. And there's obviously good value and good plays in that game, but you can spend up for the guys who are probably going to be less owned, like Jordan Alvarez, who hits a home run every day, it feels like, whether he's hurt or not. And I'm just finding myself going over there. My favorite plays of the day are all like Grisham and Pham are both 2 of my top plays on the board. And it's hard for me to get away from them because they're just, I really like Atlanta. I just think Atlanta, I really like San Diego. I just think that there's such a good chance that they go nuts. And they're the kind of team that when they go nuts, like these other teams and they score a bunch of runs, even the Reds without Castellanos to some extent, you're getting less home runs and you're getting more tons of hits going their way and things. San Diego doesn't do that. they have too much power on their team all the way through the lineup. So I really like this, just getting the San Diego. And I also think the Cubs are getting overlooked. That's the other one who mostly I like Wisdom and Bryant, and I think Rizzo's too cheap. But the Chicago teams, San Diego, and Houston have all become more priorities for me than they were earlier today.
Did you get to any Miami?
No. I have one Adam Duvall lineup, but even that made me nervous. There's just too many good players out there.
Okay.
The hitting was really easy to figure out, but the problem is there's too much of it, and we've needed so much. I think it's slanting my brain a little bit, so I'm trying to trying to get away from that if I can,
Right.
And these, you don't need your team to score 20 runs. You know what I mean? You really don't. You need the guys who hit home runs, and you're also not going to get 20 runs every single night. Now tonight, there's probably going to be a team, maybe two, that score double-digit runs, but that's about what it should be.
Right. Absolutely.
It's not going to be this where 6 teams are doing it every night. So it's been crazy. This is the time of season though when it happens more often, just not as often as it's been happening. It's been way, way, way out of control. Sorry, long tangent, done.
Are you gonna throw in a Dodger one for?
I have a couple like cheaper Dodger stacks.
Okay.
I have Will Smith as a one-off. You know me with catchers who caught pitchers. You know what I mean?
It's true.
It just makes too much. And people who don't believe in stuff like that, even if you just didn't look at the numbers, which there was a number run a few years back, somebody did it. It was like incredible numbers for catchers who'd been there for a full year with the pitcher, or more. And even if you didn't look at that, isn't that just logical? Like if that's what your job is, to catch that guy, don't you know him? Even if he changes his style, don't you know his arm angle and everything better than everybody else, including the managers?
I think that thinking otherwise is a little actually.
It's short-sighted in my opinion. I agree. But then I think you're going to want, like on FanDuel, for example, I think you're either going to want to play a shortstop or an outfielder in the utility spot. That's one of my thoughts. My initial lineup on FanDuel might be a little bit too chalky because I have a lot of I have the Blue Jays and Red Sox, and I need to get a little different than the chalk. But I'm actually wondering how much the Blue Jays end up owned because of this, if this really affects things. Every time we talk about playing them, they're always lower owned outside of like Vlad than the projections have them. Guys, if you want to drop any questions, I'll answer them. Sorry, I was a little – K9 Bronco. It scares me too a little bit. The Nola pivot, I think Sheets may have answered that before. I like Darvish. I like if you want to spend – I think McClanahan is fine. I have him like 18%. I think I've got him on DraftKings. I've got Marquis about almost 30%. Skubal, I've got 25%, and I've got 25% of Dunning. And like sprinkling in 10% of Garcia and 5% of Rogers. I'm worried about Rogers and Skubal both being shut down, sort of like Casey Mize was being shut down. But I don't think the Marlins are as likely to do it, so I'm not quite as worried for Rogers. I think the Tigers could do it at any time. But I'm still playing him, so take that for what it's worth.
I'm playing. I mean, if I don't hear anything otherwise, I'll play 10% of the Toronto. And the only reason I say that is, again, I don't want to take on that much risk. Yet on the other hand, I mean, they can score 20 runs any freaking game. Yeah,
I want to get a better feel for it. I know, because I really did like that game the best, and I think there's ways you can get different with it. Like you can use guys at the bottom of the order in your stack. You can play all Toronto. You can put the outfielders, play 3 of them. You can play 4 of them on FanDuel. I probably would play 3 of them with Vlad. I think it's a great way to go. Like you can get different. I'm playing a lot of Gurriel where I have my Toronto stacks.
Really? You usually don't play him.
I love to play him. I just haven't. There was a time where he was the same price and he was still getting like the same ownership. But when Springer came back and he moved from 6, 7 to 8 every night, although he moved up tonight.
The other Gurriel you don't play as much.
I don't play the other Gurriel. Yeah, Gurriel's up to 7 tonight.
Okay.
I don't play the other Gurriel as much. Yeah, that's true. He doesn't have as much power, but he's having a good year this year, power-wise, better for him. But so today I actually would play both Gurriels, but obviously there's a million ways to go.
Yeah. Maybe just
DraftKings should do something with the pricing though. They kind of are making it's just there's too much of a guessing game and less strategy. That's how I feel about it anyway.
You mean with what? With
just with everybody, you can get anybody in you want to. So to be so easily, it's like it's so hard not to run into I don't know. It's just there's so many of the same plays that there's 50 good plays and you're not making us differentiate. The only thing we're doing is sort of swapping one for another here and there. Like, it's just, I don't know. I think it's dumb. I just think price the guys up at Coors like you should. Price the other guys up when, no reason. Everybody's mispriced. So finding like a pricing discrepancy used to be a thing. Now it means nothing.
Right.
Chrome.
Who else is a good spend at first base besides?
Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
I have a lot of Caratini, by the way, tonight because I like San Diego, and it's so tempting to just play Cam Raleigh anyway, batting fifth, you know. But I just like going to Caratini.
I mean, I'm looking. I have like two lineups with like Bichette and Guerrero, and I could just move them out for Tatis and Alonso.
Here's another thing that moves good for Aaron Nola. DJ LeMahieu was just scratched also.
Oh,
so your best contact, low strikeout guy,
yep,
gone, and now you've got basically, I mean, what, Stanton and who else are the starters on that team? Like,
yeah. Who are your favorite Cubs in your Cub stacks?
Rizzo, Wisdom, Bryant, and
Baez. You like the
Baez, and who was my other guys that I like there? Oh, Contreras. I don't mind spending up for him. I like that just contrarian way of going to catcher because I think it changes your whole lineup too. That's most of it. You know who I like? I'm afraid I don't have enough of because I just keep using my shortstops in my stacks. Is Didi Gregorius would be my long shot pick to hit a home run tonight back in Yankee Stadium. Loves that short porch. From Hans been giving up tons of powered lefties. It's a great spot. It's just can't quite pull the trigger when I've got Tatis 30%, Bichette 20%, Story 15%. Tim Anderson I've got 15% of, 10% Correa. Let's see. Stanton Torres. I don't even know if we would call Torres a good hitter anymore, by the way. I think he lost whatever he had. He lost all his power for sure. I'm not as into the Phillies tonight, but that's just because I don't want to get too differentiating. But I do like I did mention I do like Didi quite a bit, and I obviously like Bryce Harper. But yeah, I think you're at low ownership on him, so that's no problem with that. Yeah, Nola's going to be popular. I don't think you guys I don't think we need to go crazy about when we're doing things differently with our lineups. The pitching should be the least part of the stuff you should worry about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want your points from your pitcher. If one thing's been clear, we want our points from our pitcher. Now, sometimes it happens with the low-owned guys, and that's great. But I'm still going to – I mean, I'm playing Marquee 30% almost, and I've got Darvish and Nola around 40. But in most of my big ones, I keep coming back to why am I not just playing Darvish and Nola here? McClanahan's the other one. He's got the upside on his side. For sure, because he is an arm they don't know. He's got a cannon. He's a good strikeout pitcher.
Yeah, I wonder what would happen if I just X'd out that Red Sox game.
I'm gonna see if there's any other weather update for me. Uh-oh, now we've got the likely delay in Texas, which should get me off of a little bit of my Dunning and Skubal.
Delay in Texas?
It doesn't look like there's any postponed risk, but it just looks like there's going to be there's some sign of course sort of delay, says Roth.
Okay. What do you say about Toronto?
Delay of some sort looks fairly likely. Can't give specifics, but he'll have more.
Same thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be lock time for all of us. So I'm gonna answer you guys. Pop in any questions before we get out of here. Anything else that's going on?
Yeah, I'll hang a few minutes. Let's see.
Adam, look at how good Adam and K9 Bronco are with us right now. We start talking about something, and they're literally they've already posted it in the chat, but I haven't seen it yet. And that's how we're on. You guys, we're in sync. Let's sync up with this and make some money. I I like that Canine Bronco. I like your little mini Philly stack. If I was going to do a Philly stack, that's what I would do. You could even squeeze McCutcheon in and make it a 4-man if you were so inclined. But like, I didn't find myself doing that. But I think that's totally a logical way to go with the way things could go at Yankee Stadium. I just like other spots better. Otherwise, I would be with you. I'll read out some real quick some of my ownership. I did my pitching stuff. I'm going to get rid of some Dunning and some Skubal. I just don't want any risk with young pitchers like this. Teams are not going to fuck around. Sorry, I guess I can say that. Teams aren't going to mess around anyway, so I think we got to get a little bit less of, or I got to get a little bit less of those guys. I'm going to end up playing the expensive pitchers more and more marquee. This is where I'm at. But what's really one really weird play that I have 12% of is Rougned and Odor, where I'm not playing Nola. I'm just taking a shot on the history of lefty power against Nola and a 0-owned cheap second baseman that kept ending up right where I needed it to be. And I also wanted a little bit of hedge against myself in a funny way. Because that's what you're afraid of with Nola is lefties that can get a hold of one. And obviously Odor either is going to he might strike out sometimes, but he might hit a home run as well.
Yeah.
With the way things have gone lately, that wouldn't even be enough.
Yeah.
I'm actually at 8% Odor. I misread the.
Yeah, on FanDuel, I'm definitely just sticking with the expensive pitchers.
How about your boy Sheets? I ended up getting quite a bit of him too.
Did you?
I've got him almost 20%. Put him up to second in the lineup.
Big boy.
Yeah, the guy hits the ball, it's going to go somewhere.
Yeah, if he hits the ball, it's going to go somewhere. That's I like that.
Ways you can get different too with your Boston, like play Santana instead of like Connor Joe. If you're like filling in a piece or something, and play Santana and get a full 4-man, or if you're going to do like 3 Boston guys. I've run into that issue a few times today. You can play. I don't think people are going to play as much Verdugo and Kike as people think. Maybe Kike will because he had a couple home runs yesterday, but that's another way. There's just so many outfielders. It's hard to picture any of them being too chalky, and if they do become that way, there's equally good plays you can go to away from them.
Yeah, the one thing that it's something that I brought up to you like the first couple of days. I even started playing DFS, and I would like to talk to people more about is the idea when I ask people like what's your ownership of a certain guy, and they say I'm XYZ. I'm like, what are you on FanDuel? Just the overall kind of like portfolio exposure to guys. Like how much money you have on a certain guy and things like that. So like for example, like today. I just happen to have just scrolling through my NBA stuff, and I mentioned earlier that on DraftKings I only have like 45% Giannis and 0 in the captain, but on FanDuel I have them literally 100% in the captain. Yeah,
you can't. And over there it's totally different. Yeah.
But what I was interested in is if anybody's done any work of like how to, I don't say properly hedge, but how to like set up lineup builds, but with all the sites, you know what I mean? Where okay, I'm going to have 30% of Nola on this because I'm going to have 14% of something else on this, but the pricing structure is different and the scoring is different. So maybe that's not exactly what I don't even know what I'm saying, but I just feel as though people. That they should, you know what it comes back to also. Remember, I asked about sports betting too. Like if you like are both an expert DFS player and an expert sports bettor, and let's just say that you have, a thought that I don't know, say Dunning is going to have over 5.5 strikeouts or something like that. Are you better off betting that as a just straight up prop, or is it better off betting that as an overweight in DFS, or can you do a pair trade where you play, Dunning over in the strikeouts, but then play the other side in a straight bet, or play Dunning, but then also on FanDuel play XYZ as a home run guy. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to play Dunning to get strikeouts, Okay, if he doesn't strike him out, maybe then they'll give up home runs. I don't know. Just kind of like mixing disciplines in some way. I mean, so I guess that's kind of like next level shit. But yeah, again, the stuff that I kind of think about. I also think about why on FanDuel they have me listed as having 2,000% of Devin Booker.
Yeah, that's really weird. I'm going to answer some questions. Tony asked if the Boston game is weather okay to stack. I'm doing the best I can with the weather, guys, but I can't tell you right now that it's good to go or not. I've got some stacks there. I do have less than I did to start the day, but there are other reasons for that too. Is that people all got on it. Maybe this keeps some people off of it too.
Well, Roth posted something that is makes you really cautious about the Atlanta game.
What did he say?
You just read it. I mean, it says this line is scarier than anything we saw last night. We want to watch radar trends closely as we get closer to first pitch.
Yeah. So with that said, I mean, look, there's a lot we can do DFS wise. I'll be in the chat room, but let's jump on and this is probably a good time to listen to Ross Weather. I really do think this is a weather related day, and we were going to do the half hour anyway. Is that okay with you, Sheets, still? Because it's the 111, I've got all those lineups to edit.
So wait, so you want to stay on for a half hour? Or
no, go off and listen to. I want to hear the weather.
Okay. All right, sounds good.
All right.
And Mrs. Sheets is walking in with dinner, which is always good news.
Beautiful.
So I will wish all of you a good luck.
Good luck.
And, that'll do it. Good luck, guys.
Yeah, crush it tonight.
All right, so you guys get another 15 seconds while I figure out where the hell you guys are in the browser. Once I find you, oh, there you are. All right, good luck, Project Mayhem. Good luck, Tony A. Good luck, CP. Good luck, Canine Bronco, Adam, and everybody else. And Project Mayhem, the answer is right now I have just way too much school. We'll see what happens.